A year, I just finished my first 10K, official 10K race. It was a year ago. I decided to start losing weight and doing cardio and running and trying to get my AFib under control. And somewhere along the way, you all started taking that journey with me, and I just want to say I appreciate you all.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows, but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Hey Corey, I see you in the audience there, man. Thanks for showing up. I notice you get to show up when I go on a little earlier on our time. So anyway, I'm glad to see you. How you doing, man? Let me know how it's going, okay? Just let me, gotta mute some sound here on my end. I'm getting some echo. Just give me a moment. Okay, I think I nailed it. So I'm sort of just testing some stuff in the studio. I'm trying to broadcast to both my channels at once, and let me see if it's working. It is working. That's kind of cool. So now I can go to both my channels at once. Man, I'm glad you're doing good, Corey. That's good, man. I mean, we both have our fights lately, eh? Hey, brother? So I just thought this was the easiest way to give everyone an update on my health. Now that I can blast to both channels at once, I can basically cover all my subscriber base. And, it's been an interesting week. First of all, my recovery is not going too badly. It's slow. I still have a lot of problems with the exhaustion, which turns into brain fog. I'm hoping next week I can actually show up at work and get more done. But I'm going through this funny period of time where I went to the cancer center just 2 nights ago, and they fitted me for like a goalie mask that hockey players wear, so that when they do the radiation therapy, my head is completely held still. I mean, I had to wear it for 10 minutes. I didn't have any problem with it at all. I didn't have any sort of claustrophobia. And then I had to do a 40-minute MRI. So they take you in the goalie mask, put you in a CAT scan, Then they put you in the MRI and they line up the images, and then it all goes to artificial intelligence, and the artificial intelligence plots how the radiation laser beam is going to go through your head during the radiotherapy, so it avoids your eyes and your ears and anything that you don't want to get nailed with too much radiation. So the AI just plots a course all around that, so it can nail my tumor. Hey, healthy living, welcome. I'm doing okay, man. I'm one day at a time. I walked 22 miles this week so far, guys. What's that tell you? Obviously, physically, I'm doing better than I am mentally. Mentally, my brain is recovering slower than my body. Let me just say that. So, Corey, you know the deal. I keep forgetting that chats go right up on screen without me clicking on them now, which is great. 24/7 headache, worried my tumor could be growing. Yeah, it sucks between scans, right? Like, oh my God, is it growing? I mean, if only we could just, like we do with an ECG, we could just check ourselves whenever we want. I mean, we'd probably drive ourselves crazy scanning ourselves all the time. We'd give ourselves even more cancer from all the radiation if we could just schedule our own scans. So anyway, I'm starting 6 weeks of radiation, and it'll be Monday to Friday, probably in the mornings. So it's probably going to leave the house back home in an hour and a half, given travel time, and getting in the machine, getting the therapy done. And then on Thursdays, I have to stay for blood work a little longer. And then on Fridays, I meet the oncology nurse to sort of review how I'm doing. So Thursdays and Fridays will be a bit more time consuming. But no matter what, I'm home at lunch. And the protocol is what I'm gonna have to just take something for nausea first on an empty stomach about an hour before. But I'm planning to fast. I'm doing fasting all night now. I fast from 9 at night, 8 at night. Yeah, 9 at night till about 1 in the afternoon, because I'm trying to promote autophagy to assist my treatment. So I'm planning to fast anyway, so the food's not a concern. And it'd be good to be busy in the morning doing my treatment, so my mind won't be on wanting to eat. So my schedule is going to be basically getting up in the morning, going for my fasted 5K walk, getting on my stationary bike and doing a 40-minute bike ride, and then getting to the hospital and doing my cancer therapies. So the wrinkle in the mix here is that the chemotherapy doctor, my AFib has been completely absent. No ectopic beats. My heart's been absolutely perfect on AFib. Thank you for asking. In fact, my bradycardia that I've had for 2 years has actually improved. So my resting heart rate's gotten a lot closer to a normal resting heart rate. So overall, I have to say it's been great for my heart. It's normalized my blood pressure. So it's just been great for me. It's really working out well for me, it turns out. I think before, when I would do keto and it would kind of give me the flutters, it's because I was doing keto plus I was doing long, hard runs. So that's a combination I just plan to avoid for a while. Because the last thing I need is AFib right now while I deal with cancer. So I go to the cancer hospital. It'll be Monday to Friday. The wrinkle was, because my cancer is so rare, there is no evidence base at all for chemotherapy. And the very few studies there were indicated that chemotherapy for my type of tumor, pleomorphic xanthosarcoma, is actually contraindicated. It might actually shorten my life. So I'm like, there's no reason to do the chemo then, which is great because I didn't want to do a year of chemo. But since then, there was a meta study I came across of 325 people with my tumor, which is probably about 1/3 of all cases worldwide with this tumor, because this tumor is very rare. And my chemotherapy oncologist consulted with all the leading oncologists in cancer, including the oncologists at the pediatric hospital, cancer hospital, because I have a pediatric tumor. And universally, they all said, because I have this MGMT methylation promoter as part of my tumor, which is actually really rare in my type of cancer, that it makes it a no-brainer to do the chemo. So he shared some studies with me showing in other astrocytomas who have the MGMT promoter that the temolizumab, I think it's called, actually increases progression-free survival by about 30%. So that's a third more life, guys, in general. Now they can't make that promise about my specific cancer, but you know what? I'll take it. My goal is to be a 10-year survivor, and the reason I chose 10 years is because after 10 years, they consider you cured, and they switch you to full to monitoring where you're only getting tested. You're only getting a scan once a year. So my goal, but in order to get to 10 years, I have to get to 5 years, right? You got to get to 5 years first. And in order to be a 5 year survivor, you have to get to be a 2 year survivor. So the studies all seem to track people for either 2 or 5 years or 10 years. So I see those as the goalposts: the 2 year goalpost, the 5 year goalpost, the 10 year goalpost. So the first goal I have to get through is the 2 year, because obviously I can't make it to the 5 year if I haven't made it through 2 years. And so I'm thinking at the next goalpost, and the chemo is the most likely thing to get me there. Now I know I'm doing my diet, which I feel improves my overall health. I don't know. I don't honestly. I don't think it directly treats the cancer. I think what happens, my diet's improving my blood pressure, my blood sugar control, and my health, like it has with my AFib, and that gives me a better chance because I'm in a healthier place. Between that and all the walking and exercise I'm doing, it just gives you a bigger base of general health, gives you a better immune system, and I think these things are actually what directly help with cancer. It's certainly going to improve my quality of life being healthier. It's certainly going to make the treatments a lot more tolerable, doing exercise and feeling healthy and sleeping good. All these things are going to improve my quality of life for whatever time I have, yes, left. But I know, I mean, I've really been hitting the books on the keto diet. I'm not convinced it directly treats cancer. I'm just going to be very honest about that. And I have a video coming out about it, about my reasoning for that too. But what I am convinced is that it does, for me personally, increase my base health, and that will give me a better fighting chance against the cancer. So I continue to do my ketogenic diet, but you won't find me making claims that it directly treats cancer, because honestly, I've been combing the literature for days. I'm not convinced. I find the evidence is kind of weak and anecdotal, and I can in good conscience just tell people who have cancer to go on the keto diet, especially if they're considering the keto diet instead of standard treatment. I think that's a mistake, to be honest. I don't think you should do that. Sorry, I keep forgetting to look at the camera because I'm looking over at the chat here. A little bit out of practice on the live streams, folks. So, anyway, did you all have a good U.S. Thanksgiving? I mean, our Thanksgiving was like, my Thanksgiving was literally right before my cancer diagnosis. So I went for a walk after Thanksgiving dinner. We were at my mother-in-law's, and I got lost, and I couldn't figure out the GPS to get home. So there was a sign I was having problems. And then I started driving the family home, and I didn't look to the left, and I almost hit a car when I pulled out in traffic. And then after that, my wife decided she'd do the driving, and then we got checked out, and we found out I had the brain tumor. So now, the diagnosis was Friday the 13th. The surgery, the craniotomy, was 6 weeks ago today. And physically, I'm doing much better. Like I said, so far I've walked 22 miles this week. I rode my stationary bike 10 miles today, 5 miles the other day as a test. So physically, I'm not getting exhausted. But mentally, I get exhausted. And as I get tired, I get brain fog. Some of the other problems I've been having is if I'm in a conversation with someone and they switch the subject quickly without a lot of clue that they're doing it, sometimes I don't catch on. I'm still talking about the previous subject. So I've had to be a lot more mindful when I'm talking to people to really watch for their verbal cues and actually questioning them and say, are we talking about this new thing now, or are we talking about the previous thing? I actually have to say that, just to reorientate on the conversation. So that's a problem I didn't have before the brain tumor. I've got a couple other things. My typing after the surgery had greatly improved, and since it has declined a bit. So I would say I got 80% of it back, and now I'm at about 65% of it. And I found the best way to type successfully for me is simply to slow down. If I just slow my fingers down instead of getting in the habit of just typing super fast, I can actually get through the paragraph. Now I avoid the whole mess. Quite often I use this microphone next to me, and I use the Windows features for handicapped people, and I use the voice dictate, and I'm actually getting proficient at doing that. The problem is at work I have a technical position, so quite often I'm having to type little snippets of code, and the voice dictate doesn't work for sharing code. So that slows me down sometimes. If I'm having to read like a ton of email and reply to email, that will exhaust me about half an hour flat. The brain fog will come on, and I'll have to go have a nap. If I'm doing something creative, they talk about left and right side of the brain. My tumor was all on the right side. So if I'm doing something creative, that doesn't exhaust me. If I'm doing something where I'm doing logical problem solving or a lot of typing, those things I find extremely exhausting. And the exhaustion comes on really quick. So it's really interesting, like doing creative things where I'm not on rails, where I can just work in a free form manner and just create. I find that almost therapeutic right now. So, Corey, when I found out about my tumor, I had a panic attack. Heart started racing. Yeah, that is the worst news, man. I mean, I put a video up of when I found out, and everyone who watches says they cry when they watch it. It's a very sad moment. It's a very shocking moment in your day. So I have something to show you guys. Well, just bear with me one moment. I'm going to grab it. One moment. As you can see from when I got up, the steroids are still making me puffy, and they're going to have to up the dose again next week probably when I start the radiation. But anyway, I took my MRI, and I bought this model brain on Amazon. Okay, and I took measuring tape and some of my wife's nail polish and paints, and I painted my tumor at the same scale on this model as it was on the actual MRI. So you can see on the right side of my brain, the white is the tumor, and the black around the tumor is the swelling and edema that was basically causing all that brain tissue not to function so well. So that's the size of my tumor, and I even did it inside. Sorry, wrong one. So you can see the tumor where it was located, the depth of the tumor. So it's actually right on the center in my brain that controls my handwriting. So, so anyway, I bought this because I'm trying to learn some brain anatomy because I'm starting a brain cancer live stream. Well, it won't just be for brain cancer, all kinds of cancer. But I have some people coming on, I think, that are going to come on the cancer live stream, and they're going to know brain anatomy, and I don't want to be left behind. So I'm learning some brain anatomy. So there's my tumor, and it was about the size of an AirPods Pro case. But because this model is about 65% the actual size of a brain, it looks a little smaller. So that was my tumor. That's what they resected out of me. They got 95% of it during the surgery. And that's the top view. You can see it's quite large when you're scanning the whole mass from the top of the head. So that gives you a really good idea. I mean, now that I did that exercise, I can see why they were all asking me, don't you have headaches? Don't you have seizures? I mean, that tumor is pretty freaking big and it's crushing out a lot of brain. It was crushing so much brain that the center line was actually pushed over into the other half of the brain from all the swelling. So it's no wonder they're all quite concerned, and they put me on the rush for the craniotomy, right? Given the size of the tumor and position, I mean, another week and it could have really just done some permanent damage to places in my brain like my vision and hearing that I kind of want to use, right? So that's the that's the where I'm at today. I'm dealing with the cognitive challenges of exhaustion and brain fog after I do certain types of tasks, especially if they involve sort of problem solving and logic. Like if I were to do math, I get exhausted pretty quick. So if I'm doing something creative, like maybe a coloring book, I'm probably good for hours, honestly. I go for long walks every morning. I get up and I do a fasted walk because I fast all night from 9 o'clock. I do a 5K walk. I go to the coffee shop and it's basically a 5K walk to the coffee shop. I have a nice little coffee and I've switched to black coffee now because I'm trying to fast longer. And then I walk home, and now I've started doing my exercise bike. I did 40 minutes on the bike today, and I find the exercise really helps my brain. If I exercise that day when I go do those more difficult tasks, I can do them longer and feel better while I'm doing them. But on the days I don't exercise because maybe I'm feeling tired already, I certainly can't do as much those days. At work, I actually did an hour and a half product demonstration. I didn't think I could get through a product demonstration that long, especially with me as the host, but I pulled it off. But at the end of it, I basically fell asleep for 3 hours solid. It really exhausted me. So the big question in my mind is this permanent, or am I going to continue to improve? And according to the oncologists, the answer is ask your neurologist, whom I see in 2 weeks. So I'm very much looking forward to that conversation. A probably much less important question in my mind is how quickly can I get back to lifting weights? I suspect the answer is 6 months. I have 9 screws in my head where they did the surgery. There's a plate, and there's 9 screws with different overlapping shims that hold the plate in place. I actually went on my chart and I saw the inventory and parts list for what they installed in me during the surgery. So I have the list of parts they put in me. I don't know how much the parts cost. It wasn't on the list, but I actually have the list of parts. So, and again, my heart has been. I honestly can't remember when my heart's run so well. I have no ectopic beats. Even at night when I lay down, sometimes I used to get the odd ectopic beat when I try to sleep, excuse me. I don't even get that. I mean, my heart is just solid. It's just never run so evenly. And my low heart rate, my bradycardia, I'd always have a resting heart rate of around 37, especially in my sleep or just sitting at my desk. I mean, that's not the case anymore. Let me see what it is at the moment. So my heart rate was 68 2 minutes ago, which is a normal heart rate. I haven't had a bradiocardic heart rate in a couple of years since I started with the AFib. So my resting heart rate is back in a more normal range, and I'm certain that's a big part of why I'm not having all the ectopic beats that I was having. So yeah, you're RoboCop now. Yeah, if only I had some of his toys like flamethrowers, right? Really make a day of it. So anyway, I wanted to give you all an update on my decision to do the year of chemo after all. And what that year is going to look like is starts with 6 weeks of simultaneous radiation and chemo Monday to Friday. And then for a year, 1 week a month on Mondays to Friday, I'll be doing chemotherapy. And during that time, I'll be able to take the chemotherapy in the evening before bed so that it won't impact my life so much. But during the radiation, I have to take the chemotherapy in the morning before I go to radiation. So I'm probably going to feel like crap for those 6 weeks. And what they tell me is when you first go on it, that's when the side effects are the most potent. After a few weeks, a lot of people find it quite tolerable. They're able just to live their lives as though they've had a very mild flu. So I'm hoping that to be the case. Corey, that's interesting you brought that up. I actually found a study. Again, my tumor is so rare of a pediatric case with this exact cancer that they think caused his AFib in a child. And they wouldn't go as far as saying the cancer and AFib are linked, but they speculated that this specific cancer could be linked to AFib as an early warning indicator. So imagine that. Imagine now I had to pay $40 to get that article and read it. It was only 4 pages. It was kind of a ripoff because it was behind a paywall. But you can imagine how badly I wanted to read it. So I paid $40 US on Springer to read the article. And then after I did that, every single article I'd go look on a PubMed, I could no longer see the article for free. They wanted me to go to Springer and pay another $40. I thought that was pretty suspicious, so I checked my computer. And when I bought the $40 article, they had stuck a cookie on my computer that basically identified me as a sucker who's willing to pay for articles you could get for free. So as soon as I removed that cookie from my computer, PubMed started letting me read articles for free again. Like, these people, man. I can't believe it. So, Healthy Living. Just had the ablation 2 days ago. That's great, man. Heart rate 58. That's perfect. Been a long time since I felt this good. Oxygen 98%. Used to have AFib 90% of the day, every day. Wow, you're a whole new person, brother. Man, I'm so glad to hear that. I think that's amazing. I mean, ablations have really come a long way. Do you know what type of ablation you had? Did you have the cryo balloon or the radio frequency one? I'm kind of curious. I see another comment in. It's online, but for some reason I'm not seeing it on my other chat. Just give me a second. Let me make it bigger. Erica, I have a small meningioma and acoustic neuroma stable. Had craniotomy in 2018 for another meningioma benign. I actually just came across the acoustic stuff today for the first time on YouTube. I was listening to a fellow who had it. Apparently that's another quite rare type of tumor. So do they have a good treatment plan for you in the event of recurrence? So it sounds like your recurrence was more benign. So that's good news. Hopefully it just stays that way. I wonder if they were able to offer you a prognosis, because they weren't actually able to offer me a prognosis. So you had the RF ablation, okay, Healthy Living. I'm not surprised. What province are you in? Are you in BC from memory? I think you're out in BC. I mean, there's not a lot of cryo balloon in Canada to begin with, so. Erica, I'm throwing your comment on screen. Acoustic neuroma, stable, had craniotomy for another meningioma benign. So I'm not so familiar with that particular type of tumor. Obviously, I'm not a cancer expert being new to this, but thank you for sharing. And do you talk about it on YouTube or anything like that, Erica? Anywhere that I can follow your progress? If you can let me know in the comments after, I'll be sure to follow you, maybe on Facebook. If you want, we can friend up. Just let me know, okay? We can be cancer buddies. Healthy Living Vancouver, right. Yeah, I remember you have great videos walking through those beautiful forests out there. So keep those coming. You're still doing the videos? Corey has I'm pronouncing it wrong. Meningioma, but usually more common in women. Fair enough. I found out the name of my dad's cancer that killed my dad when he was 12. It's mesothelioma, and it was metastatic, stage 4. I remember it really spread through his body, spread to his lungs, spread up to his neck, and I believe it spread to his brain before he died. And that was a nasty 2 years, his last 2 years. And that 2 years has really colored me away from wanting any kind of standard therapy. It's really biased me against it, to be fair, which is probably why I came out on the keto diet so hard. But after reviewing the research, I've come to the conclusion that standard therapy is the way to go. And the proper way to review the keto diet for cancer is to consider it a good way to build general health. And that general health should help you fight cancer and tolerate treatment better. So that's how I approach it now with that knowledge. And that was I spent a lot of time reading a lot of things. So I continue the videos for now. AFib isn't bothering me. I explain more on my YouTube channel. Okay, man, I'll be sure to check that out. So be sure to check that out. I mean, I'm not doing a lot of AFib videos lately because I'm so consumed with my recent diagnosis. So there's room in the market for you, brother. As well, if you join my Facebook group, Training and Exercising with AFib and Living Your Life with AFib, I'm more than happy to let you post your videos there as you produce them, okay? So that might help your channel grow a bit. I'm more than happy. I'm not going to knock you out for spamming. You have my total permission to post your videos in those two groups because I think people in those groups would enjoy them. You're out doing your thing, and that's what I want people to see. I want people to live their lives despite their AFib and their cancer, right? Sounds dumb to say meningioma is the best tumor to have. Okay, yeah, like if you have to reach into a bag of cancers, that's the one you're hoping for, right? And I laugh, but when for 3 weeks I thought I had glioblastoma, and the prognosis on that is really grim. And then when my test came back saying that this is what I had, I was like, well, that's way better. Who'd have thought I'd be thankful to have grade 3 brain cancer? But I hit a point in my life where I was actually thankful to have grade 3 brain cancer. So, I mean, it's funny. It's funny what you can find yourself to be grateful for. So, right now, my weapons for cancer are a good diet, my ketogenic diet, prayer, my family, intermittent fasting, faith in God, Jesus Christ, and those are my weapons to fight cancer. And of course, chemotherapy and radiation. And I'm pleased to say I have a wonderful oncology team. I'm really happy with every single one of the 3 doctors I have. The facility I get to go to in Hamilton is perhaps one of the best in the nation, without exaggerating. It benefited from a very rich man who donated over 25 years, $90 million into this facility privately, Mr. Juravinsky. So God bless you, sir. And he also built a place called Maggie's Place after his wife, which is a hospice center named after his wife Maggie. And 2 years ago, at the age of 92, Mr. Juravinsky checked himself into Maggie's Place, where he passed away peacefully and comfortably in the hospice care that he built for his wife. It's a very touching and beautiful story about a couple who gave so much to the city and whose investment is personally benefiting me now. And I will be forever grateful to the Juravinskys, and I will pray for them. And I know anyone who's done that much good work is, earned a place of reward and peace. So thank you to the Juravinskys and to the Juravinsky Cancer Center. And thank you to my audience. So many of you come out on the weekend here just to get my update, and so many of you send good wishes all the time. I'm like just immensely grateful to everyone who wishes me well. My wife keeps pointing out that I have 2,000 people in my corner, where most people only have 1 or 2. And we're both very grateful. And let's say we feel the love all the time. We feel the support. And because of the YouTube channel, I've been able to get access to information and advice that I probably wouldn't otherwise be able to get. So I'm very grateful for that. I'll give you one example. I uploaded my Keto for Cancer video on Twitter. It got 29,000 views in 24 hours. And I had so many people reaching out, people with PhDs in their name, saying, hey, let me know if you need any advice on anything. What a great thing that is. So, I mean, I'm harnessing the power of social media, right? Happy Thanksgiving in Canada. Yeah, thank you. Ours was about a month ago, but I ate really well, and it was before the cancer diagnosis, and we had a wonderful family dinner, blissfully unaware of what was coming, so it was a really good Thanksgiving, and I'm quite happy to have the memory. Everyone, it's getting a little late. It's 9 o'clock. I've been on this 35 minutes now, And I am starting to tire. It's been a long day, partly because I did 2 workouts. And I much appreciate everyone tuning in. There's a QR code on the screen. If you scan it, that will take you to Mr. Terry Tucker's excuse me, motivational check website. Terry has been such a godsend to me during this time. I texted him right after diagnosis. We got on the phone. We've been talking frequently. We FaceTimed the other night, and I mean, he's been fighting cancer for years now, and he's so level-headed and just so motivational to talk to. So Terry, I know you're going to watch this video later. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jan, and thank you, Corey. So, guys, I'm going to sign out. I always like to play us out with some music. So let me just find the song here. Where is my old song to play us out? I'm a little out of practice. I guess I don't have one, so I'll just play us out with the intro again. Thanks, everyone, and God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Whatever your fight is, I wish you the best, and I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers as well. And thank you to my fellow cancer warrior for joining the call today and sharing about your acoustic tumor. I appreciate that. I'm really glad to have you here. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. It's been quite a year. I just finished my first 10K, official 10K race. It was a year ago. I decided to start losing weight and doing cardio and running and trying to get my AFib under control. And somewhere along the way, you all started taking that journey with me, and I just want to say I appreciate you all.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.